Why was the PlayStation so successful? Game concepts, I think. So today I'm going to be making a PlayStation 1 game concept from scratch with a menu and a loading screen. The immersive experience of gaming has changed, from Victorian-style family fun to AAA violence, but that pipeline all starts with the PlayStation 1. There is a wide variety of games out there, and most of those games from Xbox to PlayStation have a central figure. However, I ran into a pretty big problem early on. I have no aesthetic or theme, I have no protagonist, and I've never made a character in Blender before. Is it hard to only use Blender and After Effects? I came up with the lore of the game, the general premise, which is about surfing, but environment is important, and I knew I needed an environment that people wouldn't expect. I landed on the concept of volcanoes, specifically volcanic surfing. What if a guy started surfing in volcano lava instead of the ocean? How dangerous would that be? What would the safety precautions look like? Is it spiritual or pragmatic? What would happen to the surfer's body over time? In 1965, a Californian surfer moves to Hawaii and makes a living surfing. But after a volcanic eruption leading to the deaths of millions of people, the lone survivor of the eruption is the Californian surfer, who becomes enthralled with surfing on volcanic lava. This protagonist is hunted by the US Army for experimentation. He resides within the volcano that erupted, completing missions and side quests to earn money and surfing points. He believes the island residents weren't warned about the eruption on purpose, as part of a government conspiracy that he finds himself at the center of. I knew I had to dive into Hawaiian culture, so I collected as many references as I could, from tiki statues to volcanoes to the overall environment of the Pacific Islanders and everything that they ate, everything that they did culturally, just to aid me in enhancing the story and the aesthetic of what I was eventually gonna make. Not knowing how to make a character in Blender meant that I made a lot of mistakes, but those mistakes could be easily undone. I just learned how to do it properly, what was the proper procedure, how do I get a reference image, and from that reference image, make something completely new, make something three-dimensional and functioning on all sides, not just the front of the body, but also the side profile and also the back of the body as well. Now, once I was happy with the Blender side of things, when I had made my character and my environment, and I knew that the aesthetic was kind of where I wanted it to be, it was time to make the main menu. Now, the main menu consists of, from what I remember from playing video games, a start button, a continue button, and a settings button. So that's exactly what I started with. Now, positioning the start, continue, and settings button is up to me and whoever else decides to make this kind of thing, but I decided that I was gonna put it on the left hand side of the screen. Now I want to show you guys how I achieved this CRT effect in After Effects. So first I have radial blur, which I put at 1.4, and these are the coordinates here for the radial blur, and these are the exact settings that I used for the radial blur, not too much. This is the grid effect, and this is what I used. So 4 on width, 4 on height, and 3 on border. That's for the grid. And once I finished with the grid, I went into the feather, which I kept at 0. And then I went into CC lens. Now with CC lens, I wanted it to be just the CC lens part, so 225 for the size, and for the convergence, minus 84.0. For CC vignette, I put it at 2 and 45, And for glow, I decided I wanted to put it with these coordinates right here. So that's exactly what I did to achieve that CRT look. Now, another thing that you have to do for CRT is you need to put mosaic. If you don't put mosaic, it's not going to look as good as you want it to be. So make sure you go into the effects and presets and go into mosaic and make sure that you put mosaic in the final adjustment layer for your CRT. First, you have to make an adjustment layer. Make sure you do that and then follow these steps. Now for the colorama effect, I put a drop shadow and I did it 5 times. So drop shadow, then drop shadow 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then I put the colorama effect and I put it at orange, red, and yellow, and that's what created this effect. Now, before I show you the final result, I just wanted to go over a pretty dark design concept that I've come up with. So, you've heard of Ticketmaster, you've heard of these online ticket websites where you get to buy and go see concerts, live events, sports events, etc., all that kind of stuff. But you've never really seen a side of it that could be enhanced. For example, what if there was a rescue Ticketmaster? So your seat, let's say in a stadium or in a sporting event or a music festival or a concert, is prioritized in case of an emergency. So if an emergency were to occur, like a terrorist attack, something violent, your seat is the one that's prioritized for rescue. So first responders, first aid, the police, people that rescue, okay, they come to your location first. Wherever you're seated, wherever your party is seated, if you pay extra with Rescue Ticketmaster, you and your family and whoever you're with will be prioritized for rescue. Sounds good to me.